On this episode of the Veteran Business Community Podcast, I'm talking with Rob Hall, or the original beef chief. So if you love jerky, if you love biltong, if you love a great story about how just getting in there and giving it a go, starting from nothing and creating a business with over 70,000 customers, 5,000, reviews, with an amazing opportunity to get into, big FMCG, fast moving consumer goods, supermarket shelves, stick around and listen to how Rob has created an amazing online business. Coming up, Rob Hall, the original beef chief. On this episode of the Veteran Business Community Podcast, I'm talking with the beef chief, the original beef chief, Rob Hall. G'day, mate.
Pete, how you going, mate?
Mate, I am well. I am sitting, I feel like a kid in a candy shop, or like Richie Rich swimming in my seas of gold, because I've got beef chief, teriyaki, bourbon barbecue, Raging Cajun biltong, mate. It's all here. Lime chili, chipotle, and I'm going to crack open some of that charcoal chili just to show off to everybody shortly, mate. But I'm pumped. I love jerky. I want to talk about beef chief.
Let's get into it, mate. I know after hearing that, some of the audience are going to be very jealous. It's nice to
Mate.
sit down with a chew and a brew and have a bit of a listen. So,
Well, mate,
can't go
very
wrong.
gratuitous. The reason I have this stuff, I was very. It's not like this is a paid episode or anything, but we managed to get your stuff in front of Qantas Airlines a couple of months ago.
Oh,
I don't know
beauty.
if anything came of it or not, but mate, I got a couple of samples left for myself. So, mate, let's get into it. Hey, tell us, whereabouts in the world did you grow up?
Yeah, it wasn't like one location for me. I had a bit
Yeah.
of an interesting childhood. I moved around a lot. I think I was in over 15 different schools and give
Yeah,
you
right.
some
Was,
sort of idea. But it
was
was
you, were your olds in the
mainly,
military, or what took you around so much?
nah, it was a combination of things. So mainly Victoria.
Yeah.
Um, the Dandenong region, Hampton Park was I spent a lot of my time, but we ended up in country Victoria, Kyneton, Kyabram, Bendigo. We
Yeah.
just shuffled around a fair bit. Part of it was my parents' work. I got expelled from a school or two. It was
Yeah.
just, and then my parents got divorced, and then it was, you do the back and forth thing
You go
there.
here
So
and there. And so
yeah, yeah,
when you left school, was how was the military on your cards, or was it something, or how did you end up being?
yeah. So they come out to me, they go around to schools, and they do like a bit of a meet and greet sort of thing. When I was in Kyabram, would have been year nine, perhaps. They come around and did the intro that told us who they were, and it was like a recruiting session essentially, but
Yeah.
for school age kids. And they just put the seed out there. So I bounced around a little bit. I ended up at Hampton Park uh, for a couple of years, sort of year 10 through year 12. And I mean, look, things weren't great back in the day. My mum had cancer, and she probably took her 8 or 9 years of suffering before she passed.
Yeah. Right.
So that happened during VCE, and things went off the rails a little bit. School went, who gives a fuck? You
Yeah.
know, stopped
Yeah.
caring about things. I was with my mates, and I was carrying on and drinking and partying and whatever else. And then me and mate were looking at each other, going, "What are we doing? Like, we need a bit of structure." We could tell, and we both enlisted for the military. So I was trying to get a trade at the time. Um, that didn't happen. So we're like,
So
put our
did you
hands
join
up for
up?
the infantry.
Did you join up together? Did you walk in together and sign up together?
Well, we signed up together, but he signed up as infantry and I signed up
Yeah.
as a Spartan because I was trying to get a trade. That was what I saw. I thought, we'll get a trade. That'll be the best way to go.
Yep.
And then he got inducted and he went off to Kapuka. And I was like, oh, man, nothing's happening. Called the recruiters, and one guy there said, listen, they don't really hire tradesmen as recruits. They'll just go and hire them around the base that they need them.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
you're better off applying for something that, either you want or that they need. And I
So
said,
you might have
well,
been waiting for ages to get in and get your job,
yeah,
if ever.
that's right. If
Right.
ever, that's right. No one that I know in the army got in as a trade. So when I got to base, it was just something goes wrong, you just hire some. you know what I mean, locally. And I was posted in Townsville, so there's no shortage of trades up there. So I ended up joining as infantry, which is what my mate
Yeah.
done, and which is sort of what I wanted to do anyway. But your family says, "Oh, get a trade." I come from a family of
Yeah.
tradesmen, so that was the idea. But what I wanted to do was, so that's what I joined up as, and then changed my preference. And within a month, they accepted me, and that was it. Off we went.
Roughly how old were you when you joined up?
I was 18 when I joined, and then had my 19th birthday in sync.
Oh, that's unreal. And how many classes were you behind your mate? Did you ever see him in uniform again
Nah,
anywhere?
nah. He got posted to a Milgra and 6 RAR,
Yeah.
but he went through the whole cycle before I sort of got in
Yeah,
there.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, mate, how many years did you serve?
Touch over 4 years. So I
Yep.
did the Rosso, and then pretty much the body gave out.
Yeah.
They gave you
That's,
the option of transferring to an admin corps. That's
yeah.
every infantry soldier that I saw go to the admin corps. They just pretty much gave up on life. It was a
Yeah.
bludge. And I said, nah, I'm not having that happen. So we'll just leave.
I've had a crack on do something else. Were you always business inclined?
Actually, yeah, it's sort of one of those things that's always been with me. I don't know where it come from exactly, but I remember I used to live in Carrum Downs, and I would have been grade one, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd go where I was. I was literally right next to the Carrum Down Primary School, and just probably 500 meters down the road was a retirement. So me and my next door neighbour, on my command, used to walk down there, go and knock on the doors, and we'd say to the oldies, "Hey, can we do any jobs for you?" And
Yeah. Yeah.
they were
Hustling.
very generous with their payments.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go sweep a driveway, they give you $50,
Yeah.
and
Right. Nice.
straight down to bloody IGA, get a pocket full of lollies, and down to Crazy Clint's and get a little BMX or a tech deck,
Crazy
and that
Clint's,
was
mate.
it, man.
Love it.
Yeah.
Every small town in Australia had a crazy Clint's. I don't know if I'd show my age here.
I don't know if they're around anymore, mate. But
No. Hey, just while we're going, just for effect here, I've just cracked the char grilled chili beef, chili
nice,
barbecue. Mate, this
nice.
one's a score of 5 out of 10. What's the top score?
The hottest, well, we have sort of two of our hottest, and the hottest is an 8 out of 10. We call
You
that
got it.
creeping. So that's a real burner. But then we sort of hide the next level up, and it's a 25 out of 10. We call it
25.
screaming. Yeah,
Yeah.
oh mate, we use chili extract. It's a real nasty pasty. It's made to put people in hospital, and it
Yeah.
definitely has. So
Mate,
we make a sign of waiver.
I had some Screaming Reaper a couple of weeks ago. I had to pull over in the car. Like it was just, man, I need to find
Yeah.
myself some water.
Oh, it's
Okay, so
brutal.
you got out of the army. When does the business start here? Do you go get a job? You're only 22, 23. Where do you go when you move out? You come back to Victoria?
No, actually. So when I discharged, I stayed in Townsville for probably 12 months.
Yep.
The discharge process was rough for me. Like I said, I moved
Yeah.
around a fair bit, and the army was like my home. I found
Stability. Yeah.
stability, but I found a group of people. I found a role that I was comfortable with. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is it. I explained it like, in my mind, it was like when you go bowling, you put the guardrails up. That's what the
Yep.
army was like for me. It kept me
Yep.
bouncing around in one direction.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was great. But I got out, and it was just like, well, the rails are down now, and now I'm back in the gutter. So
Yeah.
I spent probably, I don't know, 12, 16 months in Townsville, drinking, fishing,
Yeah.
doing some things I shouldn't be doing, and then said to myself, I need to get out of this because I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So I ended up in Thailand, of all places. You wouldn't think you go to Thailand to get out of trouble, but I was over there for, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years, and that. Come back to Australia just to see the family and that. And then I was messaging a friend of mine. So I started selling jerky on base originally. And it was
Yep.
one of those things where we had a
Is this
new
while you're
gig.
in uniform? While you're in
Yeah, so
uniform?
no. The overseas trip was when I had discharged, but while I was in uniform, going through the discharge process. So I was in rehab platoon
Yep.
in 2RAR and nothing to do. I'd made jerky for ourselves. We had uh, a new platoon commander come in who said, you can't bring out jackrats unless it's beef jerky. So we started buying a bunch of jerky from the shops and butchers and that sort of thing, and
Yeah.
take it in. And we had an experience out bush where it was just no good. We had a very rough day.
Yeah.
And I got to the top of the hill, took one of my boots off, tactical, and ripped into a bag of jerky, and it was just shit.
Yeah. I can do better
So
than
a friend
this.
of mine, pretty much, that was it. For part of my life, I was on a cattle farm, and I said, this is like sugar. This is like a fruit roll-up. This isn't beef jerky.
Yeah.
So me and a mate started making our own and then selling it on base, because obviously you bring it out and, you start sharing stuff, and your mate goes, well, what do you got, And
Yeah.
we got back on base, and it was like, Rob, I want a kilo of that chili lime,
Yeah.
So you start making it for people and that. So we had a little business sort of on. It wasn't a business; it was just making it for mates on
Just a hustle,
base.
mate. Yeah.
Little bit of a hustle, yeah. That entrepreneur came back into my life, that spirit. Anyway, we got one overseas. I come back to Australia and end up in Victoria and Melbourne. And I was living with my grandparents. They were in a retirement village, right? I had nothing at that stage. Didn't have a car, didn't have a job. I was a bit of a bum, really. And
No coin in the bank, just out.
no coin. I had a little bit of incaps coming in,
Yep.
which kept the bills paid sort of thing. But had a very tough time getting a rental as a single male. It was very
Yeah.
difficult. And then I tried to get work, but we had medical appointments, 2 or 3 times a week for physio, etc. The
Yep.
injuries acquired during service, and it was very difficult to sort of get back on track. So
Yeah.
I was texting a friend of mine I served with. He goes, "Oh, I bought a brand new exhaust from the Ute. It's a $4,000 exhaust." I said, "Well, you getting
Yeah.
the money from?" "Oh, I'm selling beef jerky again." Right,
Back on
not a
base.
bad idea. No, he was
Ah.
still in Townsville, but not on
Yeah.
base. So he made a discharge as well, pretty much the same time I did. So I got back to country, and he was saying he spent like $4,000 on his exhaust for his Holden. So where's the money coming from? He goes, "Oh, I'm selling jerky." So I said, "Righto, that's not a bad idea. I can do that, and that'll like fit with my lifestyle. Got to make physio, got to make this, that, and the other." So yeah, I put an ad on Facebook, just in like it was in Melbourne, like community forum or something like that. And then one night I did about $700, and I said,
Yeah.
we're on here, mate. This will work." So
This
yeah,
is really
took off
important
from
for me,
there.
man. This is really important for me in terms of veteran enterprise. Like one of the things I like to say, there's a lot of people, like me included, that I would find it extremely difficult to get a job again, to like slot into 9 to 5, catch a train to work or bus or commute, be stuck in the office. You go, for 4:30, you can't leave until 5. That would really just mess with me. So for me,
Yeah,
business, I found business like I call it, I work at my own pace at my own place. And when I'm
yep.
on, I can work hard. When I'm off, I can do it. How important was it for you to have this kind of flexibility? Because you're still a pretty young fellow, at 23, 24 at the time.
Yeah,
Still
24.
got a
Yeah,
whole life ahead of you, mate.
that flexibility was probably number one, to be honest with you, because everyone's going to earn a crust. In this day and age, you can't do nothing. Even with the bloody Centrelink or whatever, people. I think people that come out of the military, they just can't sit still. You know, and I'm a bit like that. So it's super important to find, if you've got injuries and you've got commitments outside of your work life, to find something that suits you. And running your own show can be, I mean, the hours aren't fixed. It is what you want to put in. Your success and your results sort of depend on your time, but you can work around it, anything. If you got a physio for an hour and a half or whatever, you just cut that out of your day. You don't have to ask your boss for leave. It doesn't come out of your pay. You just keep on soldiering on. So I think veterans have got a leg up a little bit where they can work. I mean, people have done picket at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. It's one of those things you just find your own groove. Good
Yeah.
thing.
Mate, for anyone on YouTube, I am starting to sweat just a little bit on the chili barbecue. I love it, mate. So I'm really Tell us a little bit about Thailand, because it seems to like be an interesting time in your life, because it was just a couple of years. You get out of the
Mm,
army, a bit lost, don't know what I'm doing. First
yeah.
of all, whereabouts in Thailand were you?
Most of my time was in Pattaya,
Yep.
which is known as the red light capital of Thailand.
Yep.
Um, debauchery. But we went up north, we went down south. I met some women over there that were tour guides, so we had a good experience. We had the whole breadth of the country, I guess, but
Yep.
mainly Pattaya. Yeah. And that was just because like I wanted to go over there and train. Like I said, I got out of the army. I was depressed, disheveled, unhappy. I stopped training. I was drinking. I just felt like a
Yep.
sack. And the idea was, let's just go over there. I'll isolate myself and just go back in the gym, be with like-minded people,
Yep.
and just eliminate the trouble. So that's what happened.
I've I've been down to Phuket plenty of times, and I went
Mm,
last trip I was over there about a couple of months ago. I went to this beautiful little island called Koh Lanta, which is probably about an hour of Phuket, and spent a week out there with some mates. But one of my
nice.
favorite things that I did probably about maybe 2 years ago was went and spent about a week and a half in a Muay Thai camp up in the hills in Phuket. Man, one of the best
Nice.
things I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
Um, wake up, 2 hours of training from like 6 to 8 in the morning, then bit of brekkie, then weights for an hour, then bit of time off, then yoga in the middle of the day, then have a sleep and a rest because you absolutely drills you, and then back on
Yeah.
for another 2 hour session in the evening. And I just couldn't keep the water into me. Like I'd have like 2 liters of water a session. I just still just sweating it out, man. But I can't
Yeah. It's
wait.
crazy.
Well, I've got two boys, and I've told him when he hits winter holidays in year 6, I'm going to take him over there for a week and just, I guess, would you call it a ritual or something like that? I just go spend a week in a camp with him and get him to punch some bags. I can't wait.
Oh, mate, we're on the same page there. I've said to my missus, we've recently married actually a couple of days
Oh,
ago.
congratulations, man.
Thanks, mate. Long overdue.
Yeah.
I said to her when I first met her and reiterated that the whole way through is that I'll get to a point, and this is one of my goals, is that I can jet off for 3 months and get back on the bags.
Yeah.
You
There's
know,
there's something about, I never did boxing young. I sort of, I'm 50 now. So I took it up at like maybe 42 or 43 or something like that. I was very lucky to accidentally cross paths with this absolutely beautiful guy called Johnny Lewis. And John was a trainer of Kostya Zoo and Jeff
mm,
Fennick and what was his name, Jeff Hitman Harding, and he had 6 world champions. And I
nice.
remember one time I was really lucky, like, because I had a mate of a mate, and he's like, "Oh, we do this little boxing morning class, with Johnny. Come down." I'm like, "What, you fucking Johnny fucking Lewis?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I just remember, like, but first of all, John is such a beautiful, kind, gentle person. There's almost the best person in the world I've met. I know that sounds like a dumb thing to say, but I have
Yeah,
never met someone who's so caring, so generous, so kind, donates his time, but operates with people like at elite level, like 6 world champions. And just to be boxing on his pads, like I'd just be sitting there sparring away. And I've
yeah,
been thinking, shit, man, Costa Zoo has stood where I stood, and and mate, I've never had proper fights. Um,
yeah.
I tried to have a fight once, and I was sparring about a 22-year-old dude, man. He got me with a good hook,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the hook on one side, and then the rip into the ribs on the other side, popped the rib, and that was about it for me, mate. So
Oh, yeah. The rib shots are nasty.
the rib shots, mate, you go down quick, you sort of cringe on your side, and you're like, okay, that's it. So,
It's very hard to hold together.
but mate, I love it though. But there's something about soldering and boxing or something that is just you're finding that purpose through exercise and
Mm.
beating the bag, just smacking onto the bag. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just something almost spiritual about it.
It is, it's hard to get away from once you start. Like if you're with a good trainer, I'm not talking boxer salts, I'm talking like you are, proper boxing, proper
Yeah.
Muay Thai. Once you meet a trainer who gets it, it's like it sort of sinks in, it seeps into your body. And it's if you'd ever boxed before and you watch a bit of boxing on TV, you're like, okay, whatever, they're punching each other. I could do that. And then you go to the gym and you're like, oh, hang on, I look like a fucking idiot. I don't know what
Yeah.
I'm doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like people square gating when they first start.
Yeah,
Who
yeah. And I remember the first time I tried to do some boxing, I was boxing with this old guy. He might have been about 75 or something. I was maybe, this is just a bit of practice.
Yeah,
And mate, he would have tanned me. I would have been like 28, 29. I couldn't even hit him, mate.
yeah.
I'd never done it before. It's an art, it's a skill. But I'm back to Muay Thai. I had never done it before I went over there. Never really did afterwards, to be honest.
Mm,
But the camps in themselves and the way these lads train, um, and the generosity in their spirits of hard men and women,
mm,
it's
mm,
really a pleasure to be around.
mm. Well, they call it the land of smiles, and these
Yeah,
people they work themselves to the bone, but they're happy. And
yeah,
I don't see that in Australia or in Melbourne. I don't live in Melbourne anymore, but
yeah.
people down there are unhappy, man. They work themselves to the bone, but they're not happy.
A true generosity of spirit of wanting to help you out and wanting to be your best. So, but mate,
Yeah.
enough. So Thailand, couple of years over there, finding yourself, come back. You're
Mm.
now with Nan and Pa, and no, you haven't got much going on. What
Nothing
was the
going on.
yeah, and country Victoria too. So it's even harder to have nothing going on in country
Well,
towns.
no, at that stage it was in Dandenong set.
Oh,
So it was like
Dandenong, gotcha. So you're in town. You are
Southeast
in
Melbourne.
Melbourne. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, at this stage, yeah. Yeah.
Um, what about jerky? How did you get it going? Did you just buy like a dehydrator? Go
Yeah.
down to Kmart or something, first dehydrator, do your first batch? Well,
Oh,
that was
look,
up in
I bought a
Townsville.
few dehydrators in my past, so I sort of
Yep.
knew where to look when the time came. So uh, that ad that I put up, that was off like a $200 dehydrator on, might have been eBay at the time,
Yep.
something like
Yep.
that. It was like a box dehydrator, 10 tray steel, steel tray sort of dehydrator, $200, no name, and made a batch at 6 or 7 kilos, something like that. And then yeah, sort of felt like I struck gold. So
Yep.
from then on, it was every dollar I had spare, I was buying raw topside,
Yep. Yep.
making an account and go and buy it all. It was cheap back then, actually, back in 2017, compared to these days.
2017. Yep.
2017, yeah.
Now, if I can
Um,
ask, what
yeah,
about the brand? Because as we start getting a bit more of the fundamentals of business now, you've started off, you got a little bit of a part-time show here. I'm making a bit of coin on eBay or just flicking a few packets left, right, and center. Let's get into some of the juicy bits of the business now. Where are you finding brand clarity, and where did you get the original beef chief from?
so look, I cycled through a couple of names in my head before I landed on original beef cheap, and that, like, I thought, oh, Diggers jerky might appeal to people, but it felt too on the nose. It felt like I was asking for help, almost saying that. When I was serving and we started making jerky, we refined it, and it got to the stage where a few of my mates were calling me the beef chief. It was just like
The
you're not the
beef
chief of
chief.
defense, but the chief of beef. Look at the
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It's fucking great. It sort of stuck with me for a long time, and I forgot about it. And then anyway, started selling the jerky, and I said, "Oh, maybe Diggers jerky. What can we call it?" And I was like, "Oh, hang on, beef chief. How about the original beef chief?"
I
And
love
I
it.
just said, "I love it. Yeah, it rang inside my head. It rang true." And I said, "I think this is the one. Let's just." And maybe I should have had the word jerky in the business name to begin with, because original beef chief is a bit ambiguous. Like, we've done some partnerships and sponsorships where I've, like, the logo and the brand name are up on the walls, and you go, what are you selling? What is
Yeah.
the original beef? Doesn't make sense. So perhaps if I could go back, I would have added the word jerky on the end, beef chief jerky, just to clarify everything. But when you start something, you don't know everything. You got to learn along the way.
No, but
Yeah.
this stuff's really important, mate. I know we'll like, we'll slag around and we'll just talk a bit off the cuff, but some of this practical business lessons is really important. Um,
Mm.
one of my businesses, offshoring business, and the first time we branded it, we named it Your Aura. Um, and because we're trying to think of something fancy like Uber, what's a word that means something? And we thought, well, because we're working with a lot of Filipinos, aura means time in Tagalog, which is Filipino language. So let's go your aura, your time back. We thought, oh, that's fucking cool name. And then no one knew what it meant. They're like,
Yeah.
every time you explain, oh, we're from Europe, like what is that? Then we morphed the business name to Trust the Process. because we were doing a couple of different things. And we thought, oh, yeah, that's good. And that was fine. That was fine for probably a $1 or $2 million business, but it was never going to be a 10 or a $50 million business. Because what is trust the process? You got to explain it. And now that business is purely called offshore talent. So what do? We do offshore talent. That's it.
Yeah.
We find offshore talent. So some of these really important little lessons of because it's all going to really add to your SEO, how people find you, how you get that brand identification on the shelf as well. So, but I love Beef Chief, and it's sort of wagging the dog backwards. Now you've got some bit of brand presence, and people know who you are. It really just sits well.
Yeah, and it took a while to establish that, but you touched on a point there, SEO, so search engine optimization. And that's one of those things where you get on Google or whatever browser you're using these days, and you're looking for beef jerky. Like original beef chief will pop up. We've done a lot of work to get our name associated with beef jerky. And if you were a new startup and you're considering what your business name should be or how you want to approach people, you should think about it from that base consumer's perspective, like as if they don't even know you, and you're just walking down the aisles of Woolies or whatever, or you're Googling whatever it is you're looking for. You need to, that business name, like you said, offshore talent. Well, that makes sense right away. You know what it is. You need to contextualize your business in the name. Otherwise, what's the point of your name? It's not like a customized license plate. It needs to ring true to your audience.
What we might do is just stick on the digital space for a bit, because I've just put beef jerky into my Google search, and you've come up second on the organic list. Yep. What are some of the things you have been doing with your SEO? For someone that's got a consumer product, what kind of tactics or techniques? Did you get an agency? Did you do it yourself?
SEO is super important, and it's one of those things you don't always think about at the beginning of what you're doing. What you call keywords,
Hang on a second, mate. Hang on a second. We'll just go back and do that bit again. Start again from SEO. It just broke again. It's good, and this is important content, mate. This is good stuff. So just when you're ready.
SEO is so important when you're running an online business. You can run an in-store, you can run an online or a business to business, but when everyone's got a phone in their pocket, when they're searching for something they want, who comes up first and second? Well, that's your SEO, search engine optimization. How do you rank on that first page? And it's not even the first page. You want to be number 1 or number 2. So it took us a while to sort of figure that out. And it's a complicated niche to be in. So these days it's a little different, with the advent of AI and everything like that. The rules that I learned maybe in 2018 and 2019 don't apply.
Might have changed.
Yeah. But so what I found success with was a couple of things. What you want to do is you want to get attention. You want important, authoritative sources to be talking about you. So, we've got people like New South Wales Tourism talking about us because we have a physical location in a tourist town. But we did end up partnering with an agency that specializes in SEO. And, this is, maybe we'll get into this later, but as a digger, right, I only have a certain skill set, and that's pointing and shooting. You know what I mean? So I have to hire an accountant. I have to hire a bookkeeper. I have to hire people that can do things I can't do. And SEO is one of those things. You want an agency that understands the landscape and can help you rank on that first page. So we've been with an agency now for maybe 3 years, 4 years. In combination to everything else that we've done, right? They're able to acquire other websites referring back to us, and that's known as backlinks. So let's say you've got news.com, and in fact, this is an important point. A lot of people go into a media website, news.com is a good example. They'll be reading an article, and there's a lot of sponsored content in that article. They call that native advertising. So you think you're reading an article about, the best calendars of 2026. It seems like an authentic article, but someone's paid for that article to discuss their own business subtly, linking from that article back to their website. Now, news.com has got a very high authority in terms of Google. So Google looks at news.com and says, this is a big website. It's authoritative. It's not scammy. So any link that they have from their website to another website must be important. And
Provides
that link there,
legitimacy. Yeah.
absolutely, legitimacy, yeah, or social proof. It's like having your product in Woolworths. If it's in Woolies, it must be good or good enough. So it's the same sort of thing. What you want is lots of people that are legitimate linking back to your website. And that can be either paid, if you use an agency, they can organize those articles for you. It could just be, like I tell you, a good brand, Traveller Beer, right? Traveller Beer. Old mate, Ragnarok from fucking Vikings, great TV show.
Yep. Oh,
He's
yeah.
really good at getting advertising for free. What it helps that he's a celebrity for starters. So when he goes to the Echuca pub, there's articles written about him. But those articles from a news source link to his website and boost them up in the rankings. So what you want to try and do is boost yourself up on that first page of Google.
Is it because
Yeah.
he's an Aussie bloke? Is he? He's in your area,
He's
is he?
Aussie. He is. He's an hour and a half down the road. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I knew he was an Aussie lad, but no, mate, I love that show. Mate, Vikings has got to be like one of those AJ shows where you're getting the bus
Oh,
somewhere.
yeah.
You can only watch 300 so many times on the bus.
That Band of Brothers, another great infantry show.
Yeah,
But I reckon Vikings is better than Game of Thrones.
I love it. Mate, I love
Yeah.
it. I've seen them all.
Sick.
I could watch it again easy. Mate, I
Easy.
want to talk about productization and commercialization. Okay, these are two of my constant things that are running around in my head when it comes to business. Productization. Is it a how much is this 50 grand pack? What am I actually going to do? Am I going to sell bars? Am I going to sell sticks? Am I going to sell biltong? Am I going to sell jerky? I just quick on for anyone who doesn't know, what's the difference between biltong and jerky?
Very quickly, very quickly. Biltong is tender and beef jerky is tough. All right. It's the
Nice.
same cut of beef. Biltong traditionally is made in South Africa. It's their version of beef jerky. Whereas
Yeah.
beef jerky is more like an American Western sort of thing.
Yep.
But essentially, it's just Aussie beef sliced, spiced, and dried. Simple as that.
I do like the that rip and chew bit that you got to get off.
Ooh.
You got to rip
Well,
it off, mate.
well, this is how it started. Was that when you're an infantry soldier and you're walking 20 or 30 k's a day, you pull a snack out of your fucking map pocket. You don't want to eat it in 5 seconds. You know
You
what
want
I
it to be
mean?
in there like 5 minutes later. You still want to be chewing on the cud kind of thing.
That's it, man. That's it. And one piece of our stuff, and I've got like a TikTok video showing this compared to Jack Link's, which is the real soft stuff.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
piece of ours, you chews for 40, 45, 50 seconds.
yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
a soft jerky chews for about 5 seconds. So there's
yeah,
no longevity in it. It's got a much higher protein content, but there's the enjoyment. So you're
yeah,
chewing. You go, that's all right, it's all right. And around 20 or 30 seconds of flavor, oh, off she goes.
yeah.
The enjoyment there starts shooting right up. So, and when you got 45 kilos on your back, you got blisters on your shoulders, your thighs are chafing, rubbing together, you got second skin on your left leg because it's red raw, your boots hurt, you can't just need something.
A little
Boom,
bit of
bit of beef
little bit of
jerky.
morale pie for a minute.
50 grams of morale in every bag.
That's it. So, mate, when did you come up with the product? That we are now made a decision to go B2C,
Yep.
to reach out. What were your initial channels again? Were you just putting it through socials and getting people to send out orders? Was it through
Yeah.
veteran networks or?
Now, originally it was just Facebook. It was just Facebook's a great resource in the fact that it's got groups, Facebook groups. Um, Melbourne Community Notice Board. There's 200,000 people. So you can put up a post. Hey, I've got beef jerky. Hey, I'm selling, detailing for your car. And it gets a lot of eyeballs. You're competing with everybody, but
Yep.
it's a very good way to advertise for free. So that's a really good place to start. So that was the original channel, was just on Facebook. And then from there, we developed a website. And then down the road, we had the install, and then we started pushing wholesale.
So you've got the website. It's just like this natural evolution. Like, well, I'm doing all right here. What's next? So I get my
Yeah.
website up, starting to get a few sales through there. From an e-com perspective, what software are you using, to run the shop?
Yeah, well, I'll just say when you break ground, you start seeing opportunity. You know,
Yep.
once you can sell B2C, old mates coming to your house buying a shopping bag full of jerky, then you go, well, you know what? The market's a much bigger than the $100 bag I just sold. It's a $30 million market. So once you're into it, you start analyzing, or you should start analyzing opportunities. And that's one thing that I'm good at is seeing the opportunity. But back to the tech stack. So, like I said, originally we started with just Facebook, just in the groups there. Having a website these days is mandatory, and there's heaps of providers out there that'll do it for you, that will host your website and make it very easy. They'll facilitate the creation of it, but it's mandatory. So we started off in the Facebook groups, and then from there created a website, which I think originally I used Squarespace.
Yep.
You
Nice
know,
and simple, nice and cheap. Get it going.
yeah, did the job, and then we outgrew it. I now use Shopify these days. And Shopify is really, really it's good. It's got its good points. There's some negatives to it, but if you're running an e-commerce business and you're not using Shopify, I think you're probably missing out because the base platform is easy to use
Yep.
and facilitates e-commerce. That's what it's made for. But it's a bit like your iTunes or your App Store where you've got apps that plug in. So if you've got a theme that doesn't have, like, let's say, a store locator, you can download one of those. Or if you want, you go to a website and as you're shopping, it pops up on the bottom screen. It says so and so just made a purchase in this area, and they bought, you know, 5 kilos of beef jerky in Collingwood, Victoria. Oh, cool. Well, those are extras, so people can make an app that plugs into your website to do certain things. So
Yep.
Shopify's got a huge app store. It's like the iTunes or the Apple iTunes, whatever, of website building. Yeah,
It's just
super handy.
it's super. These new bits of software as well. They can they're very intuitive. There's a lot of stuff like you can just
Yeah,
go into Google or something. So how do I do this on Shopify? And it'll probably either spit you to your Shopify university or your Shopify directory. There's no end of information like for a beginner, like if whether you're using HubSpot, whether you're using Shopify, whether you're using Squarespace. If you don't know how to do anything, just put it into Google. How do I add a picture onto my
oh,
Squarespace website? It'll just tell you.
and these days, mate, and this is one thing that it's like a different era these days from when I started. Was you can get Chat GPT or Google Gemini, and you can just screenshot your problem and put it in there. So how do I fix this? Like, you don't need to hire people, you don't need technicians, you don't need coders. Most of the time, you can solve your problem with a fucking $50 a month subscription to one of
Yep.
these AI apps. And for me, they blow past Google. They're
Yeah.
just a whole different thing. So
Just on that note with ChatGPT, I reckon I probably use it maybe 10 times a day.
yeah,
Because anything I need to have an idea with, this is not my line, but I think with ChatGPT and then I do with my brain. So I'm like,
yeah,
I wonder what that would be like. I want to play with a customer avatar. What would a customer avatar for beef jerky be? Literally
yeah,
plug it in there. I want to open a B2C online store with ecom for beef jerky. What's my customer avatar? Bang, spit it out. It's not
yeah.
going to be perfect, but it's going to save you so much ideation and creation time.
It's like a whiteboard that answers back. You can put it on the whiteboard. You can say, these are all my thoughts. I'm
Ah,
spewing my brain out right now,
mate.
and help me organize it and then refine from there. And it's a great tool for refinement. But I would say it refines to it refines to a final draft copy. And then from there, you can take it and edit it yourself. Let's say you're making copy for social media. And when I say copy, I mean that's the text that you put in a
Yep.
post. So I don't use it all the time for what we do, but it's a good tool for email
Gives you
marketing, for idea
gives you a massive
generation.
head start.
Massive head start. Yeah. Oh, it's a leg up compared to a decade.
Yeah, mate, that's one of the best quotes I've heard in ages. That ChatGPT is a whiteboard that answers you back. Because how many people will literally get a whiteboard and just chuck, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, or I've got this idea or that idea. Throw it into ChatGPT. Not only will it give you probably an answer, but a second answer, then a third answer. You can
Yeah.
probably just grab it and solve that thing. Because one of my problems with whiteboards is
Yeah.
I'll put stuff on the whiteboard, but I'll just rub it off when it's not completed because I've gone down a different tangent, whereas you
Yeah.
can actually get stuff done at the time. Um,
Well, it'll give you ideas based on your ideas.
Yep.
Hey, have you thought about this, or what about that, and you go, I never even thought about that. So it's like a Google that is contextualized to you.
Yep. Right. Let's
Yeah.
talk about a couple of things. Did you say you've got a shop as well, or a retail outlet?
Yes. Yeah,
Is
I've
it
got a shop front. Yeah.
at home, or where's that?
So what happened was 2019. So I incorporated the business in 2018, I think September 2018.
Yep.
And I was making it from home. And, I was a single, I had a missus, but I was living as a single bloke, right? In a
Yep.
3-bedroom, like shack up in Oakenwall, New South Wales. Small joint, but it did the job. It was a good bachelor pad, let's say. But every room was full of jerky, whether it was storing it or whether I was picking and packing it. And it got to a point where I outgrew the house I was living in. So I live in a tourist town. I think we got 2,500 people, and
Yep.
that's after the influx coming after COVID. There's no traffic lights in my town. It's quiet. It's sleepy. It's right on the Murray River. But come Easter, Christmas, school holidays, it's a madhouse here. The population goes from 2,000 to about 15,000.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
just you can't believe it. It's shoulder to shoulder. Um, so anyway, I've outgrown the house, and there was a place in town. It was an old hairdresser's actually, and I think the best spot in town, and it's sat empty for months. Couldn't believe it. Poker Mall has got, you got the big guitar in Tamworth and
Yep.
the big banana in the coast. Well, Toker Mall's got the big Murray cod,
The big
right?
cod. Yep.
The big cod. We're famous for Murray cod. And directly in front of the Murray cod was an empty shop front, which is the main entrance into the main street. And it sat there for months. And I said to myself, what are we doing? Why don't I never hired a commercial property before. And, nothing like this, all brand new to me. But I just walked in there one day and said, hey, look, I'm interested. Yeah, beautiful. Got the lease and off we went.
Have you still got
And
it?
it was still got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Still got it,
I'm on the cusp of buying the whole building from the owner.
mate.
Yeah.
So here we go. So we started off a little Facebook group. We've now
Mm,
got a bit of ecom, so we're punching a bit of material out. We now got a
yeah.
retail. We've had a retail store for what 6-7 years. Um,
Yeah.
Mate, I feel we just keep growing here. There's next we've got wholesale. Tell us about
Yeah.
where you've now gone on your wholesale journey.
Yeah. So it's been a full on focus direct to consumer, and I'll just start with the consumer side. I thought after 5, 6, 7 years of being in business that people love the jerky. We got great reviews. They just naturally come back, but they don't. I like a certain pork crackle, Pascal's pork crackle.
Oh
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
it. Pork scratching. I love it. And I'll buy it until I'm sick of eating it, then I won't buy it. And I won't buy it. I'll see the ads and I won't buy it. But it'll take a while of them saying, hey, come and have another go before that hunger comes back. That's what I've
Yeah, yeah.
experienced as a business owner selling snacks is that I thought, oh, people who love beef jerky and they bought it and they enjoyed it will just come back and buy it. But they don't. You need to advertise. You need to be in front. And here's something to remember is that attention is the commodity. Once you're in front of somebody, that triggers, oh, that's right, I like that stuff. Or, oh, look, the way that rips, it's beautiful. I wouldn't mind having a chew on that. So you need to be in front of people consistently.
I love that.
So, like I
I love
said,
that.
I thought we'd be, by this stage, I thought we wouldn't have to advertise. But, we've got customers, they've got 30 orders, but they'll still buy when they see the ad. It reminds them, oh,
Yeah.
that's right, I want that. So, I had hired ad agencies in the past, and I'll give some numbers out too. I got I got a payout for my injuries, right? And I sunk it all into the business. And there were some months where I was spending 30 or 40 thousand dollars on paid advertising.
A month. And these
2019.
are these meta
Yeah,
ads, Meta
yeah.
Suite or Google?
It's everything. MetaSuite and Google at this stage.
Yeah.
That TikTok ad wasn't there. This was like 2019, 2020, 2021. We're spending big money, right, to get in front of people. And we're like breaking even just, we could survive. It was good money, but whatever came in went straight out the door.
It's a ballsy
And I
move,
said,
man. 30K a month. Just think, wasn't that long
yeah,
ago you're sitting in your nan and pa's place down at Dandenong with not a coin to you. Now you're pumping $30 a month into ad spend.
It took a while to get comfortable with the numbers. And that 30 grand a month, that had a 10 grand retainer from the fucking ad agency,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it was ridiculous. It was stupid. And I was
Now,
only hanging on by the skin of my teeth.
let's just for people that thought about paying ads, there's a couple of different ways that normally do ad spend. Sometimes agencies will get like they'll go straight commission on spend, so they might go 1, 2, 5% of your ad spend, depending on how
Yeah.
much you're doing. But what you'll find with most agencies, you might have to pay some kind of upfront amount, like maybe 5 grand or something, to get your ads going. But then they will, depending on the amount of in inverted commas effort they put into it, like 10 grand a month of management. But one of the things that I find with ad agencies, like ads work really well for VBC. We get members all the time because of our paid ads. However, I really feel that it's really important to have a secondary way of measuring their success, not just waiting for their weekly or monthly report to you. Because if they're going to send you, hey, this is what's happening this week, it's like my kid writing his own school report. Now, they're only going to tell you what you want to hear. And there's going to be a lot of phrases like, oh, we need the algorithms to settle, or we need to test this, or we need, so just try and have some kind of third-party verification on what's going on through CRM or whatever.
Super important point. You don't want to rely on reporting data from people.
From them.
It's like from them, yeah.
Because you're worth 10K a month to a man. You're a good client.
Yeah, I was sinking some money in. And this is part of it was inexperience on my behalf. Part of it was the pressure to bring the money in,
Yeah. And we all got to play this. We got to learn these lessons, mate.
Yeah. Oh, and that's what business really is. Business is two things. It's a series of learning and a series of challenges. And both of those happen every single day.
Yeah.
You got to get through it. And it was tough at the time. I put a few grey hairs on and in my beard, but these days I don't pay anyone to manage my shit. I do it all. That's out I spend nowhere near as much as I used to. We might spend.
What I've got from looking at your products and looking at your marketing, number one, you're a good SEO. So that, there's an investment in there and there's work to do that to keep it maintained and to keep competing on the SEO space. But secondly, you've got, I imagine, a very effective email marketing campaign.
Both of those things are correct. So the SEO is the long term. The paid ads are like an instant gratification.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, I fucking love that.
Yeah.
What you just said then is so important. I always think of paid ads being like an electric heater in a cabin with snow around it. If you pump up the heater really high, it's going to cost you a fortune. It'll keep you a little bit warm. But the second you turn those ads off and open the door, it's fucking cold again. There's nothing left.
Yeah.
Right. Organic SEO is like having a log fire in that cabin. You can open the door and close it again, and you've got something of substance that lasts when the ads are turned off.
Well, I'm an infantry soldier, so I'm a little more vulgar than you, probably. And what I would say is, like, your paid ads are like having a wank. Yeah, it's an instant result. You know what I mean? But your SEO is like finding a wife. You got to put the yards in. You got to take them out to dinner. You got to wine and dine them. They got to love you. It's got to love them. And it takes time, But what it does take, it's like compound interest. It takes a bit of time.
That's this, mate. You can be two of the best quotes I've had in ages on this thing, but I don't know if I can use the second one on a snippet, mate. That you might go viral on TikTok, but but it is 100% correct. And I love that analogy in terms of that instant gratification versus long-term enduring performance. It's really clever stuff.
You do need both. You need to play the long game if you want to survive in business. It's not. I mean, look, you could be like a solar panel installation specialist, right? And install solar panels, rip the government off, and then change your name and fuck off in 6 months. Right? That's not a long-term business. If you're in it for the long term, you got to think about the long term, and that's where SEO comes in.
Yeah,
you need to be able. It just takes time. It's not. It's the way Google works. It takes time to build it up. It's like growing a plant, growing a tree. So, yeah, but you need them both.
Mate, you need them both. But this is all one of the things that I'm always fascinated about marketing is you just got to keep testing, adjusting, and you've got to, for me, it's a simple thing. If it's working and paying off really well, if you can understand, your cost of customer acquisition, if you can understand your ROAS and all of that, your return on ad spend, if it's making you good coin, then absolutely crack on. but too many people get stuck in the ad cycles of just throwing good money after bad, and then you get stuck.
Well, I'll
So
just
if it's
for
not
everyone
working,
watching,
change.
I'll just let them know that all of these, whatever platform it is, TikTok, Meta, or Google, the tools are out there, and these companies will teach you to use their platforms for free. Okay, so if you haven't got the money, I don't have the money up front to invest, so you can learn it on your own. And with the
Absolutely.
AI, especially, like what you don't know, you can ask it, and it'll tell you how to do it. So do invest the time. You know, you're not working for somebody else, which means you're not doing the 9 to 5. You don't come home at 5 o'clock and shut up. You don't
Yep.
do that. You come home and you fucking work. And if you're not working, you're studying and you're learning and you're
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
working towards a goal. I used to work from fucking till 1 or 2 in the morning, before the missus moved up. It was like I'd be calling my mates at 1 in the morning. Oh, what's going on? I'm just fucking doing this or doing that. Like, it's just what you do. And if you're not prepared to sacrifice your time, you're not going to get results.
Mate. And on that bit of learning, I've started 3 uni degrees and never finished any of them.
Mm,
But I'm fascinated about this kind of learning. Like,
mm,
I want to get Shopify going. How do I tweak it? I want to get my email marketing ads, so my email EDMs going. How do
mm.
I improve them? What's performance? What's the right structure? Where do I put the right CTA? What is the shape of the text that I need to put into to the message to sort of funnel them down to the CTA? So, mate, there's so much in this stuff. But, mate,
Yeah.
where are we going next? Because you are now rapidly moving into the world of FMCG. Is that right? Fast moving consumer goods?
Yes. Yeah. So, um, just quickly just touch back on the wholesale side of things. Like we worked hard getting the paid ads done and the marketing done for business to consumer. But I always saw wholesale. I think the difference is like if when you're consuming something as a business to consumer, you go online, you buy something, you eat it, that's cool. You're done, right? A business who's selling your product is making money on your product. So if it
Yes.
sells, they're going to want to restock it. It's a self-repeating cycle. So the wholesale, while you're not, if I sell a $10 bag online, I might sell that same bag for $6 to a pub, right? Well, that pub might buy from me for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years. So
Yeah.
you want, and they're incentivized to reorder. If you, like, I got a mix pack, it's a 100 unit mix pack, 10 different flavors. That's the intro pack I sell to a pub, for example, or a butcher. Once that sells, they'll go, oh, this is fucking good product. My customers are asking, hey, when are you restocking that Raging Cajun beef jerky? When are you
Yeah.
restocking that Campfire fatty biltong? They're incentivized to reorder it, not for themselves, but for their customers because they're
Yeah.
making money. So once you're in the business to business cycle, it's like recycling money. You just got to keep it moving around and around. So that was something I identified a little while ago, and I always said to myself that the consumer side of things is my main avenue. But if we can get wholesale to a certain level every month, that's like a V8 idling. It
Dude.
just
And then what we've got here is we've got defined monthly recurring revenue, which is now
yes,
moving this thing from a side gig, a little business, to a valuable asset that someone might even want to buy for you one day. That MRR to wholesale
yeah,
is the foundation that the house is built on for a successful exit one day.
absolutely. Yeah, look, if someone's looking at your company and wants to acquire you, they're going to want a stable income, essentially. They don't want to have to pull dials and go, we'll increase ad spend this month. Wholesale gives you a consistent baseline. If you
Mm.
know your wholesalers and my pubs order from me every 6 weeks, you can then start to plan. Well, this is a monthly revenue. It's like I said before, it's like a V8 that idles along at a certain frequency. That's how I contextualize it in my head. So they're going to make money off you. You're going to make money off them, but it's consistent because in my industry at least, not everybody buys beef jerky online.
Yeah.
If they walk into their favorite pub or their favorite butcher, they spend $180 on a big brisket. What's a $10 bag of jerky? You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? And you're almost piggybacking off the reputation of the company that you're selling to. And you also need to have your own reputation too. So in my mind, it was always going to be build, and this is the hard part, build the brand, build a reputation. We got 5,000 reviews on our website. 100 on Google reviews. We got almost 70,000 customers. We got millions and millions of impressions every year. So we already recognized. So when I go to a pub or a butcher, if they don't already know us, I can tell them, your customers, you might not know us, but your customers do. You know,
Yeah.
we've done
100%.
partnerships with four-wheel drive, and influencer marketing is a good idea too. But really, what it's all about is becoming recognizable to your target demographic, and then getting in front of them, whether that's online, paid advertising, wholesale. You need to work that out to fit your own business.
Mate, this is super stuff. In terms of the sales process for those B2B wholesaling relationships, good old fashioned BDM, getting on the phone, knocking on doors. Here's some jerky, try it out.
Yep,
There's
samples.
no magic
Samples.
fix here, is there? You got to do the work.
There's no template you can copy and paste. You just got
Yeah.
to, like you said, do the work. You need to convince them. And if the first ingredient is a good product. If you're selling hats or guitars or merchandise or beef jerky, if it's not good, why am I interested? I'm
Yeah.
not. You got to be good. So you need to have the right ingredient, and that is a good product. Second, a good brand. Whether it's recognizable or not, but when it's on the shelf, it should be obvious what you're selling. You know, beef jerky, Raging Cajun. The brand name isn't the biggest, but the product category is. Get whatever you're doing. If you're selling, let's say, a food, go into Woolies, walk in that aisle. I'll go to the beef jerky aisle and I'll look at what everybody else is doing. These people are already on the shelf. They've proven themselves. Is their brand name bigger than their product name or not? Like, go and figure these things out. Spend the time, do a
Oh.
recce, right, and get acquainted with your audience and your competitors. There
I'm
you
just
go.
showing that up there on the camera for those that are on Spotify or Apple. You won't see that, but it says beef jerky. The first thing you can see there is beef jerky in big letters.
Mm,
Beef chief is strong, but it's very clear that it just says beef jerky. That's what it is.
that's right. So there's 26 million odd people in Australia. I've done a lot of hard work, but not everybody knows what beef cheese is. But they know what beef jerky is. So
Yeah.
that's what you want. You want to, if you like beef jerky and you see that phrase, it will get your attention. And then the brand second. You want the product first. What flavor is it? Original? Let me have a go. Oh, that's all right. Then you start looking. Beef cheek. I don't mind that logo. That's cool. Turn it around. Look at the back. There's the blue. So there's like a hierarchy of order there, a little
Yeah.
bit,
Yeah.
and that's something that you need to you either pay for that information, or you get online, you search it up, or you just go and you do the footwork and you figure it out.
Mate, um, supermarkets. Are we going to see you in the shelf of a supermarket one day? Is that part of your plan, or
Yeah, something
you
I've
got to
been
be careful
working on
what
for a
you
long
got to be
time.
careful what you wish for.
Yeah, the
Sometimes you get
volume's
it.
crazy, you know. Um, so I'm meeting this month with a buyer from Woolworths. We're in front of Coles as well. We're in front of 7-Eleven. We just signed up TK Maxx. Um,
Yeah, gold.
this is something I've been trying to do for a long, long time, a long, long time. And part of the issue is that, how many people want to get into Woolies? Tens of thousands. Every brand does. If you're selling a product that can be sold in Woolies, you want to try and get there. And you can knock on the door with everybody else, which is what I was doing unsuccessfully. I've I've found a partner who has their foot in the door already.
Yeah.
So it was just serendipitous, really. It was that, like, we won a bunch of awards at the Sydney Fine Food Show. They invited us to trade at the Sydney Easter Show. While I
Yeah.
was there, crazy 12-day event, 120,000 people, just insane, right? The biggest ticketed event in the country. And
Yeah.
the bloke beside us, they were very helpful. It was actually a lady was beside us, very helpful in getting us set up. They'd done it for years. We're in the winners section because we won a bunch of medals. So they put a brand new section up. I said to the lady beside us, how do you do it? You guys have been at Woolies for 30 years. How? Help me. She goes,
Yeah.
oh, we use an agency. Like, they are made up of ex-buyers themselves, and they can hold the door open. They know who to call. You're not just in the queue. You essentially will jump the queue. and get your product in front of somebody. So we've used an agency recently, and it's been quite successful. But like I said, the ingredients have to be there. It's got to be a good product. You need to make your packaging stand out on the shelf. And we've redesigned our bags for Woolworths, which is, with all things going smoothly, we'll be signing a contract by the end of this month.
Dude, mate, this is exciting. I love the way as generally as Australians, we're naturally a bit self-deprecating. Like, I'm a digger. I just know how to walk and shoot. That's all I know how to do, man. You've created a serious business, 70,000 customers, thousands and thousands of reviews. You've started from in just a very short, probably feels like a long time for you, but it's a short 6 years, man. You've gone from selling a bit of stuff on Facebook to, knocking on the door or putting yourself into hundreds of stores across the country. I want to wrap with a really simple but important question. How much is too much jerky to eat in a day, mate? Am I allowed to crack a second or third packet open today, or I got to?
Depends whose jerky you're eating,
mate. It's beef. It's beef chief, but like,
beef chief.
Is there like safe eating limits here, or can I knock another pack over?
There's no restriction, providing you got no kidney issues. There's no restriction. Go for your life. Hell for leather. I encourage it. I've eaten kilos in a day.
Well, I think what I might have. I've got to go to basketball and pick the kids. So I might get into a fatty biltong because it won't mean I'm chewing it all the way down there. I'll be able to knock a pack off you here in 10 minutes, easy, mate. I just want to.
I'll tell you what, Pete, I'll crack a bag open with you, mate. That's our fatty.
You got the campfire, righty, mate. I got fatty biltong here. We'll knock them over together, mate. How good's that? Right. We've just taken over a Facebook group. I had a look at that, mate. It comes out of the packet just soft, good to go, mate. Love it. We just took over a Facebook page that used to be called the Aussie Veterans Discount Registry. It's got about 60,000 people on it. We're now the admins on it. We're going to rebrand it to support veteran business owners. And hopefully, if I get my shit in one sock, we'll get a Christmas campaign going on that shortly. Love to get on there and promote Beef Chief through that channel. But, if you want to try some jerky, like literally get onto the originalbeefchief.com. Great Christmas present. Great Christmas present. Get dad some, get mum some, mate, get me some.
If you're a veteran, I would look after current serving veterans, any emergency services, ambos, fireys, coppers. We extend a lifetime discount, 15% off. Use the code Australia First. Okay. You won't hear many people saying Australia First these days. Right. Love it or fuck off. It's as simple as that. Australia First, 15% off. We'll look after you.
Love it, mate. I got the flag behind me, mate. I fly it proudly. Mate, take care. Congratulations on an amazing business. I'd love to get you back in maybe 6 months' time again and talk about the next chapter of the journey and share some lessons. And I love your just classic self-deprecating Aussie attitude of, just no cuff too tough, mate. I'll just have a crack and get it done.
Simple as that, man. Don't get up yourself. Don't gas yourself. Just get in there, do the hard work, dig the pit, and the results will follow.
Get it done. Righty, mate, you take care. You can find Original Beef Chief on the website, on Facebook. You'll find it on our stuff through our social channels as well. Get into it. It's great stuff. Righty, mate, take care. You have a great day.
Go on your Pete. Hooroo, mate.
Thanks, Cobber. Catch you later.
Cheers, everyone. Hooroo.